Deep in a storm-ravaged hospital, a secret wedding unfolds, one that could shatter empires or forge unbreakable bonds. Why would a desperate young woman say, "I do" to a comatose stranger, her sister's jilted millionaire fiancé under her family's iron grip? What hidden clause in the contract ties her fate to his fortune and her mother's life? As machines hum their ominous rhythm, an impossible event lurks ready to rewrite everything. Hello everyone, if this mystery grips you, subscribe and hit the bell for more enigmatic dramas. Tell us your city or country below, now uncover the truth behind the veil. And the fluorescent lights of St. Vincent's Hospital buzz faintly overhead, the sharp scent of antiseptic filling the halls. Outside the ICU doors, a storm lashes against the windows, rain sliding down the glass like a warning. Inside, 23-year-old Hannah Rivera sits stiffly on a cold plastic chair, clutching the hem of her thrift store dress so tight her knuckles ache. Her family surrounds her, their designer coats and polished shoes, an intentional reminder of what she is not. At the head of the group is Aunt Mo, Vanessa King, her voice low but commanding. "Hannah, you will do this. Your sister ran off. The wedding can't be canceled. Do you understand the shame it would bring if people found out?" Hannah's lips tremble. She glances at the room beyond the glass machines beep steadily. Tubes tangle like vines. And on the bed lies Logan Carter, the 32-year-old heir to the Carter fortune. Once a commanding CEO, now pale and motionless, trapped in a coma since the accident that nearly claimed his life. Hannah whispers, "I'm not his fiancé. I'm not supposed to. You have no choice." Vanessa cuts her off sharply. "The engagement contract was signed. If the marriage doesn't happen, your mother's hospital bills won't be covered. Do you want to see her treatment stopped?" The words land like a blade. Hannah's mother frail, coughing blood into tissues in a clinic across town. Hannah swallows hard, tasting salt, though no tears have yet fallen. A lawyer in a crisp suit steps forward with a manila folder. "All it requires is your signature. A civil ceremony can be conducted here in the hospital chapel tomorrow. Just a formality. You'll be Mrs. Carter. Nothing more. No one has to know the truth." Her hands shake as she takes the pen. She looks again at Chiku, Logan, through the glass. His chest rises and falls mechanically, his face striking even in stillness framed by dark hair. She remembers seeing him once on the cover of Forbes, surrounded by flashing cameras, untouchable. And now this Hannah signs. The scratch of ink on paper sounds louder than the rain outside. The next day, under the dim glow of the chapel's stained glass, Hannah stands before a priest. Her second-hand dress is pressed but plain. A nurse wheels in. Logan's bed, the monitors following with their beeping. A simple band of gold is slipped onto her trembling finger, and vows are spoken with her silent husband to be lying unconscious at her side. "I now pronounce you husband and wife." The words echo in her skull. Her breath shudders. Applause does not come, only the faint hum of machines. Later that evening, when the family has left, Hannah remains. She pulls a chair close to the bed and stares at the man she now legally belongs to. His skin is cool under the hospital's harsh lights. She whispers, "I'm sorry. I never wanted this, but I had no choice." Her voice cracks. She wipes at her eyes with the sleeve of her dress. On the bedside table, she sets down her mother's old locket, her only keepsake, as if anchoring herself to something real. The heart monitor keeps its steady rhythm. Hannah leans closer, speaking softly, as if the man could hear her through the fog of unconsciousness. I'll stay at least until you wake up. Someone should. Outside, the storm finally breaks, the rain slowing to a drizzle. Inside, in the quiet hum of machines, a bond has already begun to form, one neither of them could have predicted. The rain hasn't stopped by the next morning. Clouds hang low over the city and the windows of Hannah's tiny apartment rattle against the wind. She hasn't slept. Her thrift store dress lies folded on the chair, still damp from the hospital air. On her kitchen table, a stack of unpaid bills stares back at her electricity overdue rent, and a final notice from the pharmacy. Stirs a spoon through a chipped mug of coffee that tastes more like water than caffeine. Her stomach growls, but she ignores it. She picks up the phone, checks for messages, and finds one from the clinic. Hannah. Your mother's medication can't be extended without payment. Please come in today. Her throat tightens. She closes the phone quickly, as if shutting the message could erase it. Across the room, her mother, pale and coughing softly, lies bundled in blankets on a worn-out sofa. Hannah kneels beside her, brushing strands of gray hair from her face. "Did you sleep, Mom?" she asks gently. Her mother smiles faintly. "Better than you did, sweetheart. Your eyes tell on you." Hannah forces a laugh, but her chest aches. She wants to tell her mother everything, that she was forced into a marriage she never chose, that she now carries the title Mrs. Carter, even though the man she married hasn't opened his eyes in months, but she swallows it. The truth would only break her mother's heart. Instead, she whispers, "Don't worry, I'll figure something out." Her mother squeezes her hand weakly. "You always do." Hours later, Hannah walks the long, sterile halls of Street Vincent again. Every beep of the monitors reminds her that she is bound to a man who doesn't know she exists. Family members in suits pass by with cold glances, whispering behind her back. To them, she's nothing but a stand-in, a desperate girl in over her head. At the elevator, she overhears a voice, sharp, amused. Her cousin, Brianna Kane, draped in designer silk, leans close to another relative. Can you believe it? Hannah Rivera, married into the Carter fortune, the girl who couldn't even pay her own rent. If Logan ever wakes up, imagine his face when he realizes who's wearing his ring. The laughter cuts deep. Job, Hannah lowers her head, gripping her worn satchel tighter. That evening, when she returns home, the landlord is waiting outside her door. His voice is clipped. "Hannah, the rent was due 2 weeks ago. I can't keep letting this slide. I just need time," she pleads. "You've said that before. I've already got someone else lined up for this unit. End of the month, you'll have to vacate." The door slams shut behind him. Hannah presses her forehead against the wood, her chest heavy with dread, later sitting at the kitchen table with her mother's locket in her palm. Hannah whispers to herself, "You married a man in a coma for them. For Mom, for survival, but what about you?" Hannah, who's going to save you? The question hangs in the air, unanswered. She picks up her sketchbook, the one thing she's kept since high school. its pages filled with charcoal portraits and half-finished landscapes. She flips to a blank sheet and starts to draw. Not Logan's face, but her mother's smile, fragile and brave. The pencil trembles in her hand. By midnight, Hannah is back in the hospital room sitting at Logan Cho's bedside. The machines humor your wife now. Strange, isn't it, a wife you never chose? She pauses, her voice trembling. They said I had no choice. That this was the only way to keep my mom alive. Maybe you'd understand. Or maybe you'd hate me if you knew. But at least one of us should survive this arrangement. Her gaze drifts to the gold ring on her finger. It feels heavy like a shackle. She takes her mother's locket, opens it, and places it beside Logan's hand on the blanket. Don't worry, I won't take anything from you. I'll just stay here until one of us finds a way out. The monitors keep their steady rhythm, indifferent. But somewhere in the silence, Hannah feels the weight of her own promise settle like stone. For the first time in her life, survival isn't about saving herself. It's about keeping her mother alive, even if it costs her everything else. The morning sun struggles through gray clouds as Hannah signs into the hospital visitor's log again. She has already memorized the rhythm of these halls, the squeak of shoes on linoleum, the smell of disinfectant, the way nurses' voices drop when they pass her. She carries her satchel, close her sketchbook, tucked inside, along with her mother's unpaid prescriptions. When she steps into Logan Hawk's room, the machines greet her with their familiar hum. The steady green line across the monitor is the only proof of his survival. She pulls the chair closer, her body heavy from another sleepless night. A soft knock breaks the silence. A man in a gray suit enters holding a clipboard. He doesn't smile. Mrs. Carter, I presume. Hannah straightens, uncomfortable at the title. Yes, I'm Pong Derek Slade, legal counsel for the Carter estate. His tone is clipped, rehearsed. We need to formalize certain agreements regarding your role as Logan Chau's spouse. Hair stomach tightens. Agreements. He sets the clipboard on the side table, flipping to the top page. There are expectations. You will not make public appearances without approval. You will not interfere in corporate matters. You will maintain discretion about Mr. Carter's condition. And most importantly, you will not attempt to claim control of any assets. This marriage is recognized in law. Yes, but practically I understand. She cuts in, her voice low. This isn't about money. For the first time, he glances up, studying her face, perhaps expecting defiance. He finds only exhaustion. He clears his throat. Good sign here to acknowledge. She hesitates, pen hovering over the paper. And if I refuse, then the estate withdraws financial support, including the arrangement covering your mother's medical care. Her chest tightens, but she signs. The ink bleeds into the paper, another chain locking her in place. Derek collects the forms without ceremony and leaves alone again. Hannah exhales sharply, her hands trembling. She turns toward Logan, his face calm in its stillness. Did you know they would do this to me? She whispers. Your family, your lawyers, they treat me like I'm invisible. Her voice breaks. She rests her forehead against the side of the bed. I didn't want your money. I only wanted my mother to live. That night, Hannah stays later than usual. She adjusts Logan Cho's blanket, careful with the tubes. The soft rhythm of his breathing, assisted by machines, fills the silence. She hums under her breath the same lullaby her mother once sang. Her sketchbook rests open on her lap, pencil lines capturing his profile. Each stroke feels strange, sketching a man who doesn't know her name, whose hand bears a ring identical to hers. As she draws, she murmurs, "If you wake up." "Logan, you'll probably hate me. You'll think I trapped you. But I swear I never wanted this." The following afternoon, Hannah walks through the hospital cafeteria, her tray holding only a cup of soup and stale bread. She scans the room, catching sight of Jean Brianos, again laughing with another cousin. "Look at her," Brianna Chom says loudly, not caring who hears. Mrs. Carter sitting there like she belongs, a charity case and thrift store shoes. I bet she doesn't last a month. Heat rises in Hannah's cheeks. She turns away, swallowing her pride, but her chest burns. She reminds herself why she endures this, her mother's treatment, the promise she made. That evening, when Hannah returns to Logan Quo's side, she notices something different. His hand has shifted slightly, the fingers bent where before they were straight. She freezes, her heart racing. "Logan," she whispers. No response, the monitors beep steadily, unchanged. She shakes her head quickly, dismissing it as her imagination. Still, she reaches out gently, touching his hand. It is warm, real, alive. A tear slips down her cheek. She brushes it away and leans closer. "If you can hear me, if there's even a chance, please know I'm not your enemy. I'm just trying to survive. The machines keep their rhythm indifferent." But Hannah swears in that fragile moment that his hand twitched again. Small, almost invisible, but enough to stir hope she never dared to hold. Back in her apartment, later that night, Hannah curls on the sofa beside her mother, who drifts in and out of shallow sleep. Hannah doesn't mention the twitch. She keeps it locked in her chest, a secret between her and the man in the hospital bed. Her eyes close at exhaustion, pulling her under. For the first time since the forced wedding, her dreams are not of chains or contracts, but of a hand that might one day hold hers willingly. The storm outside is finally cleared, but inside, Street Vincent. Hannah feels as though the sky has only grown heavier. Days stretch into weeks, marked not by calendar pages, but by the steady beep of the heart monitor. She arrives every morning, her satchel heavy with sketchbooks and bills, and leaves every night when her mother's voice on the phone reminds her to get some rest. One morning, as she settles into her usual chair, a nurse pokes her head in. "Mrs. Carter, the family requested you join dinner at the estate tonight. Formal attire." Hannah blinks. "Dinner, why me appearances?" The nurse replies, shrugging. "They want to keep things neat for the press." That evening, Hannah stands before the towering gates of the Carter estate. The mansion rises like something out of a museum. Stone columns, sweeping windows, manicured gardens glowing under lantern light. She smooths her thrifted dress, borrowed heels pinching her toes. The butler leads her inside, past walls lined with oil paintings and crystal chandeliers that glitter as if mocking her. At the long dining table, relatives already wait. Brianna Key's smirk greets her first. Aunt Vanessa sits at the head, her posture rigid, her voice cutting. "Finally sit." Hannah obeys, lowering herself onto the velvet chair. Before her is a spread of food that could pay her rent for months. Steak, roasted vegetables, fine wine. She lifts her fork slowly, painfully aware of the eyes watching. So, Brianna begins swirling her glass. How does it feel to be Mrs. Carter? Quite an upgrade from your little apartment, I imagine. Hannah stiffens. I don't see it as an upgrade. It's just circumstances. Brianna laughs. Circumstances. You mean fortune? Don't pretend this isn't the best thing that's ever happened to you. The table chuckles softly. Grips her fork tighter but keeps her voice even. The best thing in my life is still my mother. And this marriage was never about fortune. The room stills surprise flickering across a few faces. Aunt Vanessa clears her throat sharply, redirecting the conversation to company stocks. Hannah lowers her gaze, her cheeks burning, but her pride intact. Later back in Logan's hospital room, Hannah exhales, her nerves finally loosening. She opens her sketchbook, flipping past portraits, until she finds the page she began yesterday. Logan's face stares back in charcoal lines, closed eyes, stillness captured in strokes. She sets pencil to paper again. You missed dinner, she whispers. Your family paraded me like a pawn. But you know what? I didn't let them break me. Maybe you'd be proud of that. Or maybe you'd laugh at me. I don't know. She leans closer, almost conspiratorial. You know, Logan. When I walked into that mansion, I felt like an imposter. But when I walked out, I realized something. I might not have their wealth, but I have something they'll never touch. My word, my dignity, and that's worth more than gold. The monitor beeps steadily, as if agreeing. Hannah smiles faintly, though exhaustion tugs at her eyes. The following week, Hannah notices something undeniable while adjusting. Logan Quo's pillow, she feels pressure against her wrist. Slight, but real. She gasps, staring at his hand. The fingers twitch again. Deliberate this time. Logan. Her voice is a whisper, but her heart races like thunder. The monitors remain steady. No alarms, no sudden spikes. But she knows what she felt. Tears sting her eyes as she clasps his hand between both of hers. Please keep fighting. I'll be here. I promise. H. She doesn't notice the nurse who steps into the room, witnessing the moment quietly before slipping back out. A faint smile on her lips. That night, Hannah returns home to her mother. She helps her into bed, adjusting the blankets, spooning medicine carefully. Her mother studies her face, tired but curious. You look different, she says softly, like you're carrying hope again. Hannah hesitates, then smiles. Maybe I am. Her mother reaches for her hand. Whatever happens, remember, you deserve more than surviving. You deserve to live. Hannah squeezes her hand tightly, her chest aching with both love and fear. She doesn't confess about Logan's hand twitch. Not yet. Some secrets feel too fragile to expose. Back at the hospital the next day, Hannah sets her sketchbook aside and sings quietly the same lullaby her mother once sang to her. Her voice wavers at first, but steadies as the words fill the room. For a fleeting second, she swears. Logan's eyelids flutter. Just once, barely noticeable. Her breath catches. She leans closer, heart pounding. Logan, can you hear me? No answer. Silence, save for the rhythm of the machines. But Hannah can't shake the feeling that something inside him is stirring. For the first time, the weight of her forced marriage feels less like chains and more like a door one she never expected might open. The hospital feels different tonight. Chaptenson. Hannah. Can't explain why, but the air is heavier charged, like something is about to change. She pulls her chair to Watson. Logan's bedside. Sketchbook balanced on her knees. The monitors hew mattily, his hand lies motionless. Yet she can't stop staring, waiting for another twitch. Another sign she wasn't imagining everything. She opens her sketchbook, revealing the portrait she's been working on for weeks. Logan's face strong and sharp, even in stillness, drawn line by line during lonely nights. She places the page gently on the table beside him. "You don't know me," she whispers, her voice trembling. "But I know you more than anyone now. Every day I sit here, I learn the shape of your face, the sound of your breath, the rhythm of these machines. And I keep asking myself, what will happen when you wake up and see me?" Her throat tightens. "Will you hate me? Will you think I stole your life?" The door cacks open. Brianna steps in perfume, thick heels clicking against the tiles. She eyes Hannah with disdain. Still here, how touching. Playing the devoted wife to a man who doesn't even know your name. Hannah stiffens. "I'm here because no one else island." Brianna smirks. "Don't flatter yourself. You're here because my aunt controls you. Because without this arrangement, your mother wouldn't last a month. You think, Logan will ever accept you when he wakes. He'll throw you out the second he learns the truth." The words slice deep, but Hannah refuses to flinch. "Then I'll face that when it happens. At least I'll know I stayed when everyone else abandoned him." Brianna laughs coldly and sweeps out, leaving only the echo of her heels behind. Sits again, her hands trembling but her resolve hardening. She picks up Logan Chi's hand, cradling it gently between hers. "I don't care what they say. You're not just a contract to me anymore. You're a man who deserves someone by his side. So if you can hear me..." "Logan, fight. Please fight." For a long moment, nothing. Then his fingers twitch. Not once, but twice. Hannah gasps, tears springing to her eyes. "Logan, oh my God. You can hear me, can't you?" The monitors remain steady, but she knows it wasn't her imagination this time. Her heart pounds as she presses his hand to her chest. "I'm here," she whispers fiercely. "I'll be here until the day you open your eyes. No matter what anyone says, I won't leave you." The room is silent, but alive with possibility. And for the first time since the wedding, Hannah allows herself to believe Logan Carter might return to her. And when he does, the world around them will never be the same. The news of Logan home. Awakening spreads like wildfire. Within hours, the once quiet hospital room is flooded with family lawyers and business associates. Cameras flash in the hallway. Reporters shouting questions that security quickly muffles. Hannah stays at his side, small and unnoticed, clutching her sketchbook like a shield. Aunt Wassel, Vanessa, pushes forward, her smile tight and rehearsed. Logan, thank God you're awake. The company has been waiting for your leadership. We must discuss the board meeting at once. Logan leans back against the pillows, exhaustion written across his face. Not now, but the shareholders. I said, not now. His voice is still weak, but the authority in it silences her. Vanessa's eyes flick toward Hannah, narrowing with disdain. And you? How convenient that you married into this family during his weakest moment. I should have known you'd cling like a leech. Hannah. Stomach twists, but before she can respond. Logan. His gaze hardens. Enough. She stayed when all of you left. Show her respect. The room stills. Brianna lets out a sharp laugh, breaking the silence. Respect. Logan. Do you even know who she is? That girl isn't the fiancée you promised to marry. She's her sister. Hannah freezes, blood draining from her face. Logan turns to her slowly. Is that true? Her lips part, but no sound comes out. Vanessa seizes the opening voice, sharp. Yes, your real fiancé ran away, and this girl was shoved in her place. It was all arranged to protect your image, to keep the contracts valid. She tricked you. Logan. The words hang heavy in the sterile room. Hannah feels the walls closing in. She grips the sketchbook tighter, her nails digging into the cardboard cover. Finally, she whispers, I didn't trick you. I never wanted this. They forced me. My mother's treatment was on the line. I signed because I had no choice. Oh. Tears blur her vision, but her voice grows stronger. Every day since that wedding, I sat here with you. Not for money, not for them, for you, because I couldn't leave you alone. Silence follows, broken only by the steady beep of the monitor. Logan Shee's eyes search hers, conflict flickering in their depths. His jaw tightens. I need time. The words slice deeper than any insult. Hannah nods, backing away from the bed. Her chest burns as she pushes past Vanessa and Aunt Brianna, their triumphant smirks following her out the door. That evening, Hannah sits alone in her apartment, the locket clutched in her palm. Her mother sleeps peacefully in the next room, unaware of the storm tearing through her daughter's heart. Opens her sketchbook, staring at the half-finished portrait of Coma. Logan. The lines blur as her tears fall onto the page. You woke up, numb. Logan. She whispers into the silence. But maybe it would have been better if you hadn't looked at me that way, like I was just another lie. Her phone buzzes. A message from Brianna. Leave quietly, and we'll keep paying for your mother. Stay, and you'll both regret it. Hannah closes the phone with trembling hands. She leans back, eyes on the ceiling, torn between fear and the faint spark of hope that Logan might see the truth one day. For now, all she can do is wait and pray that the choice she made in desperation will not cost her the only chance at real love she has ever known. The boardroom at Carter Enterprises gleams with glass and chrome, its long, polished table crowded with shareholders and relatives. Logan, still pale but upright, sits at the head in a tailored suit. His presence commands the room, though the faint stiffness in his movements reveals how recently he left the hospital bed. Hannah stands quietly near the door, clutching her sketchbook like armor. Aunt Vanessa clears her throat, her voice carrying across the table. We must address the obvious. Logan, while you were incapacitated, this marriage was arranged under questionable circumstances. For the sake of the company's reputation, it should be annulled immediately. Murmurs ripple through the room. Brianna leans forward, eyes sharp. She deceived you. Logan, the press will devour this if they learn your wife isn't the woman you promised to marry. Hannah's cheeks burn. She wants to shrink back, disappear, but Logan raises his hand, silencing them. His eyes settle on Hannah. Is that what you believe? That she deceived me? The room waits. Hannah swallows hard, stepping forward. Her voice trembles, but she forces it steady. I never lied to you, Logan. I never claimed to be someone else. They put me in that chapel, shoved a ring on my finger, and told me if I didn't go through with it, my mother would lose her treatment. I hated myself for agreeing, but once it was done, I couldn't abandon you. Not when you had no one else. No. She opens her sketchbook, flipping through pages filled with charcoal portraits. Logan's face from every angle drawn in long nights by his bedside. She places it on the table, pushing it toward him. This is what I did when you slept. Not plotting, not scheming, just sitting there reminding myself that you were human, not just a name on a contract. Gasps circle the table. Even Vanessa falters. Logan picks up the sketchbook, flipping through slowly. His fingers linger on the page where his hand is drawn, held in hers. His expression shifts, hardness melting into something raw, unguarded. Finally, he looks up. While my so-called family negotiated profits, Hannah sat beside me. She is the only reason I am here today. This marriage may have started under false pretenses, but the only deceit I see belongs to those who used me as a bargaining chip. He turns toward Vanessa, his voice cold. From this day forward, she is my wife, not a stand-in, not a pawn, and anyone who challenges her challenges me. The boardroom falls silent. Brianna's smirk vanishes. Vanessa's face hardens, but she says nothing. Hannah's breath catches. Relief floods her, mingled with disbelief. For weeks, she had braced for rejection. But now, Logan's words wrap around her like armor as the meeting disperses. Logan approaches her quietly. Hannah, I can't erase the way this began, but I want to choose now. I want to choose you. Her eyes sting with tears. She whispers, why after everything? He closes the sketchbook, gently handing it back. Because you stayed, and in every page I can see the truth. In that moment, surrounded by the remnants of power and wealth, Hannah realizes the contract that once chained her has transformed into something neither she nor what Logan could have predicted, a promise born of choice. The weeks after the boardroom showdown pass like a blur. The press speculates wildly, but Logan shields Hannah from every question, every flashing camera. When reporters swarm outside the hospital, he takes her hand firmly, declaring in front of them all, "This is my wife. I stand by her." The clip spreads online, shocking those who had doubted her, silencing whispers that she was just a desperate stand-in. At home in their quiet apartment, Hannah watches the video once, then closes the laptop quickly. She isn't used to being defended. All her life she has been the one fighting, bending, sacrificing. Now someone fights for her. Her mother's health improves as treatments continue, and one evening she clasps Hannah Chow's hand, smiling weakly. "I told you, sweetheart. You deserve more than survival. Look at you now." Hannah presses her forehead to her mother's. "I only got here because of him. Because he believed me when no one else did." One crisp autumn morning, Logan invites John Hannah to the estate gardens. The leaves burn gold and crimson, the air sharp with the scent of pine. She walks beside him, still nervous in the shadow of wealth, but his hand in hers steadies her. At the center of the garden, under a stone arch twined with roses, a small gathering waits, just a few trusted friends, a handful of loyal employees, and her mother in a wheelchair, eyes bright with joy. Blinks in surprise. "Logan, what is this?" He turns to her, holding a velvet box. Inside gleams a simple diamond ring, not a contract, not a formality, but a promise. "Our first wedding was forged in lies and desperation," he says, his voice steady. "But this one, I want it to be our choice. I don't want a contract. Hannah, I want you." Her breath catches as tears spill freely. "Logan." He kneels, the most powerful man she has ever known, made vulnerable before her. "Will you marry me again? Not as a duty, but as my partner, my equal, my love." Hannah's hands fly to her mouth, her heart pounding. For a moment she sees the past, the hospital chapel, the ink on the paper, the loneliness that weighed like chains. And now here the chains have fallen away. "Yes," she whispers, then stronger. "Yes, Logan, 1,000 times. Yes." The small crowd cheers softly as he slips the ring onto her finger. He rises, pulling her into his arms. For the first time, the kiss they share isn't forced by circumstance, but born of choice. Later that night, in their modest apartment instead of the mansion, Hannah places her sketchbook on the shelf beside her mother's locket. Logan wraps an arm around her shoulders, studying the charcoal drawings that captured the days he lost. "You kept me alive in those pages," he murmurs. She leans against him, smiling. "And you gave me a reason to keep drawing." Outside the window, city lights shimmer, ordinary and extraordinary all at once. Their story had begun in silence, in contracts and fear. But it ends here in truth, in love, in the promise of a life neither of them ever expected. For Tatum, Hannah. What began as the cruelest mistake became the greatest blessing. And for Logan, the man who once lay silent in a hospital bed, the choice to love her is the only contract that will ever matter.